Peace, Dolla50, you already know. Yo, listen, the Trump indictment is kind of, it catch you off guard a little bit. But the riots that erupted, saw the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? When he won the election, they started rioting. Spring break, they was going to spring break, boom. Then they started rioting because they had to go in the house, they couldn't hang out. Then after they started rioting because they couldn't hang out, then they started rioting because it was already rioting and Trump was still the president, so they continued to riot until they started stealing t-shirts. When they started stealing t-shirts, Hillary Clinton didn't step in the entire time. It was like, everything was all good. It was like the riots was continuing, and it was just, what it was. So then they said, well, they're gonna impeach Trump, for his abandonment and his continuing to preach against, what was real. So they said they was gonna impeach Trump, and then the impeachment didn't go well. So they continued to, attack Trump while he was the president. So then after while this impeachment process was going on, then they said, well, we're gonna after the impeachment didn't go well, then they had the election for Biden. The Biden election showed up. Eventually the Biden election showed up. Then they said he won. After they said he won, then they said, well, they started rioting because they said it was Trump supporters that started to riot at the Capitol, as riots erupted there. See, if they was rioting from the time that he was in office to the time that he was impeached, supposedly been on trial for impeachment, and they was rioting on Capitol grounds, monuments, all this destruction of property. It was rioting all that time. It sounds kind of crazy to say he was rioting. He was behind the rioting at the Capitol grounds. So it's like you watching the riots from the beginning to end, and then blaming him for it. So then, after you watch the riots from beginning to end and blame him for it, then you try and come up with this indictment. The indictment, I'm going to let it be known. If somebody accuse you of giving them hush money, right? Not only does the statute of limitations apply. The person is finding him, the person is saying, look at him. The person is not saying he's committing a crime. The person's saying, look, he gave me some money after the person spent the money, after the money's gone. If you don't give the person no money, it's just, you don't look real, and if you give the person money, you don't look real. So it's like, when you give the person some money and say, well, it's what it is. I'm not going to say what it is per se, but it's a catch-22. When the situation is present, a person say, look at him. That's what the person's doing now. The person's not saying he committed a crime. When it happened, the person's saying, look at him. As the president, he's going running for election and all that again. Like he's up for those extremes, though. That's the challenge that he's up against. So you just have to see it for what it is. It's what it is there, as opposed to what it is then. What it is then is it was a crime if it was a crime. And what it is now, now you're going to say after you're running for president for the second term, now you're going to say what it is then. Donate, you know what I'm saying? My channel ain't getting no views, you know what I mean? Donate. Peace. Dolla50.